Can we just pause for a minute and talk about how we made it out of 2020? Like officially. Welcome back to Grace and Grief. I'm LaSandra. If you are new to this channel, welcome. And if you are returning to the channel, welcome back. You guys, thank you so much for all the comments, everyone that shared the past couple of videos, past few videos that I posted. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for hitting the bell. Thank you for telling your friends. Thank you for telling your family. Sometimes people connect me with other widows or other people that have lost loved ones because of the content that I'm creating for Grace and Grief. And so thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of you. Your support means a lot to me. It means a whole lot. It means more than I can articulate on this video and still keep it together. So thank you for your support. Can we just pause for a minute and talk about how we made it out of 2020? Like officially. We may have crawled out. I think I crawled out. I crawled out, but still, we made it out of 2020. Happy New Year to you and yours. What a year. 2020 was quite a year, and we're still standing, you know, and we're still here. And I want to just have a conversation with you virtually in this video about how to live a powerful life even when you're going through grief, or even when you're carrying the weight of grief and you're carrying the weight of disappointment. There's so much energy right now about New Year's resolutions and goal setting and being strategic and leveling up, and it's exciting. You know, I love January because it is a time to begin again. But at the same time, it can be, you can have mixed emotions about the new year when the reality is maybe you lost someone in 2020 and you're still processing through what that loss means for you. Or maybe you lost someone years ago, you know, a few years ago or more, but you're still in transition. You're still in transition. You're still getting used to doing life without that person. Or maybe you've gone through a divorce, or maybe you've lost your health or your house, or all the things that we grieve, relationships, friendships, jobs. Maybe just things have not gone in life the way that you wanted them to, and you're trying to pick up the pieces and figure out how to move forward. And you're in a new year, there's this pressure to produce, you know, there's a pressure to level up, there's a pressure to kick the door down of the new year and to hit the ground running. But you may not feel like running. You may not feel like it. You may not have the level of motivation that someone else has at this time. And so we're starting a new year. How can you, who's carrying grief, who may feel that the rug has been pulled out from up under you, who may be very heavy and be experiencing a level of heaviness, a level of depression, a level of just disappointment and discouragement because of things that have happened in this life, how can you live a powerful life? How can you step into the new year and be strong and be productive? If you're new to this channel, maybe you don't know this, but my husband Kenneth passed away in 2017. He had a heart condition and died a sudden death in the month of October. And so when he passed away, I became widowed with 4 children under the age of 12, 35 years old. I had worked and volunteered off and on and done a lot of different things in terms of my education and career, but I hadn't worked full time. He was the main breadwinner. The past 3 years, I have had to, you know, become Miss Career Woman, become the sole breadwinner, the single parent, a single woman, a single adult for the first time. I had not even been a single woman as an adult because I got married at 21. And so everything has been new. Everything has been new. Everything has been, whoosh. This has been just a season of many firsts. And so there are certain mindsets though that have helped keep me going. And so I wanted to give them to you today because a lot of success is about the mind, the mindset, and how we choose to think. And there are ways that we can choose to think, and there are perspectives that we can take intentionally when we're grieving and when we're disappointed and when life is really hard, that can help us continue to forge through with strength and continue to be productive and continue to heal. And so I want to offer some of those things to you. The first one is just practicing showing up. Just keep on showing up. Even if it's just like you're not feeling it, just keep showing up for whatever it is that you want to accomplish in your heart. If it's work, if it's, going to the gym, if you're still going to the gym, or working out, if it's your family, if it's your children, even if you don't feel all the way motivated, even if you don't feel all the way in tune, just go. Just show up anyway. A lot of the fruit that I am experiencing in 20 that I experienced in a lot of the fruit that I experienced in 2020 was just because I had kept showing up. I didn't always have it all together. I didn't always feel super confident. I didn't always feel super motivated. But after my husband passed, when it came to certain things, I just showed up. Someone asked me to speak for Grace and Grief. I just kept saying, sure, I'll come. I may have struggled emotionally, even in the car on the way there, because Kenneth wasn't with me. But I would just show up and I would just give what I had. I would just share whatever encouragement I had, things that I was learning about grief through research. I would share those things. Whatever I had to offer, knowledge and wisdom and revelation that I had that was helping me in my grief process, I just showed up and shared it. No matter how I felt, I just consistently kept trying to show up in whatever consistency meant for me in that season. You want to live powerfully in 2021, but you are grieving. In as much as you can, for the things that matter to you, just try to show up. Even if you are not at the top of your game, you're not feeling 100%, just be consistent. Those are seeds that you're planting, and you are going to reap the fruit of those seeds later. The second thing is, it can almost seem like an opposing idea for me to say, be grateful in the midst of grief. And actually, this could be a whole video all by itself, but it's important that you practice some level of gratitude even while you're grieving. It helps keep you strong. When I say practice gratitude, I mean getting up and just saying, okay, I'm grateful for even the person that is no longer here. I'm grateful for the time I had with them. I'm grateful for who I have left. Let's say you lost your mom, but your dad is still alive. I'm grateful that dad is still here. I'm grateful for my children, or I'm grateful for the children that I have that are still here. If you lost your child, I'm grateful that that child was a part of my life during the season that they were. If you lost your job, I'm grateful that I had that job in that season, and I'm grateful that I have the skills to get a new job. It could be, maybe you don't have all of that. Maybe you say, I have, I only have a small dollar amount in the account, but be grateful for that, whatever the amount is. And say out loud, like, I'm grateful, I'm thankful that I have a roof over my head. I'm thankful that I can walk or talk, or let's say you can't walk and you've lost your ability to move your legs. God, I'm thankful that I can move my arms. Let me tell you a story. It creates a memory for me. When I, had my last daughter, I struggled with a condition. It makes it hard to walk. And it's like a small population of people experience this. But I just was struggling with knee pain and like inflammation in the body that made it really hard to walk. And I just was in chronic pain every day. And so this was a time where I really became acquainted with grief, because I had lost a certain level of health that I was used to. Um, and I struggled with depression during that time a lot. And I had all these little babies, like toddlers, and like a newborn. And it was just a very difficult time in my life. And one of the things I started to do was I would praise God, and I would say, I may be struggling to move my legs, but you know what? I'm so thankful that I can move my arms. I'm so thankful that I can move my hands. I'm thankful that I can turn my head. And I know this might seem crazy, but it was like I had to be able to develop something to be thankful for in order to keep a strong attitude. And I would say out of my mouth, I would quote healing scriptures. I would say, by God's stripes I'm healed, by Jesus' stripes I'm healed. And I would say, I'm healed of the Lord. God sent his word and he healed me. You know what, God, I'm thankful that I can move my arms. I'm thankful I can move my hands. I'm thankful that I can speak. I'm thankful that I can, reason. I'm thankful for these other things. And I know you're going to also heal my legs and heal my lower body and heal these other things that are out of sorts. You're also going to heal me, and I thank you for a complete healing. But in the meantime, I thank you for what I can use. And so being grateful for whatever it is that you have left, and concentrating on what you have and not what you don't have, is such a huge part of living powerfully, even while you're carrying the weight of grief. The last thing is practice vulnerability. When I do different interviews, or I sit on panels, or I speak about my experience in grace and grief, or about grief in general, I always highlight the power of vulnerability. You gotta keep it real, right? And I've said this on other videos, but it's something that you can practice. To be vulnerable means you're unguarded. So it's not easy to do. Sometimes it's not easy to do with God. Sometimes it's not easy to do with yourself. Sometimes it's not easy to do with other people, but it's a skill that can be practiced. So when we are vulnerable, we let our guard down, we let our walls down, and we just be who we are in whatever state that we're in. And that alone can bring about so much healing. When we let other people in, or when we just be honest with ourselves, or when we're honest in prayer, we're doing the work of the heart. We're doing the work that brings healing to the heart, and to the emotions, and to the mind. Bring the guard down and say something in prayer that's just raw and real with the Lord. Or just say something to yourself, say something out loud that is very vulnerable and that is very real and true about where you're at, and watch what happens, because there's so much power in it. Or take that chance in a safe space with a friend or a counselor, and just let yourself say something like, I don't feel like I'm being a good parent right now, because emotionally I don't have it to give. Or you can say, I feel like my person's death was partially my fault because X, Y, and Z. If that's how you feel, say it. If that's your truth and that's how you feel, don't judge it. Don't judge it. Just be vulnerable with yourself, with the Lord, with a counselor, with a friend, and speak it. Say it. Acknowledge it. First of all, it sets you free. You may cry, when you say it, you may begin to cry, you may begin to weep, you may begin to flood emotionally, and that's okay. Let it out. And the next steps become, what do you do with this? What do you do with this? And then you can kind of work through what to do with those emotions, where to put them. Are they healthy? Are they productive? Are they not? If they're not, then what? Are they based on truth? Are they based on lies? you can begin to unpack it. I've been thinking a lot about vulnerability, and I think a thing that scares us about being vulnerable is nobody wants to feel weak or appear to be weak. But we forget that even when we're vulnerable, we may be exposing the things that make us really just human. And you can embrace and acknowledge your vulnerabilities or your weaknesses and still be very strong. I heard an author say, your weaknesses do not make your strengths disappear. You're strong, and you can also have weaknesses in areas of pain and areas of growth, and at the same time be a very strong person. And so your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities do not cause your strengths to disappear. You're standing in the light of the truth of both, and so you can own them. You can own both. You can confidently own your strengths and your weaknesses and vulnerabilities. They coexist in each one of us, and that's okay. That's just what makes us human. These are 3 huge game changers. If you want to have a powerful 2021, regardless of who you lost, regardless of what has happened, you may still be grieving, you may still be hurting, you may not know what you're about to do next. That's okay. That is a part of the process. I hope that this blessed you. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.